Speaker, and he is none other than Right Honourable Suresh Prabhu ji. Now, honestly, I would not need to introduce Suresh Prabhu ji to any one of us out here. But I think it would be grave disservice if we did not speak about him, at least for a minute. Because this man over the last 3 decades in electoral public life, he's been longer in public life, has really redefined every sector that he is basically partaked in. Even 2 decades later, he as the power minister then during Atal Bihari Vajpayee's government, he is still regarded for the pioneering power sector reforms that he brought about. And recently in an index that was brought out of global, ministers of power who have done reforms, he came in right at the top. So he's always been a person who's been ahead of his times. He's of course been straddling different ministerial responsibilities over the last 3 decades whenever he's been in government. And in every particular portfolio, he has been at the cutting edge of strategic transformation. He was, of course, chairman of the National Water Commission when we talked about interlinking of rivers. As Railways Minister right at the start of Modi ji's government, he was again instrumental in laying many of the foundational initiatives that we are seeing fructify today. When he was the Commerce Minister, he took the unique step of bringing the global South together in terms of the larger multilateralism on trade, and in the context of the Doha round. And every such portfolio he has been able to do justice to because he's a strategic thinker on issues of strategic governance. He's a perceptive-oriented person and he's an action-oriented technocrat. He's of course right now the founder, chancellor of Rishi University. Kindly put your hands together for Right Honourable Suresh Prabhu ji.
Good morning, friends. I have been asked to speak on why Goa. Very difficult to say. Why Goa? There may be 100 reasons why Goa. Have you seen, there are 29 states. Any state, a chief minister was here before probably anybody else came here, wanted to have breakfast with all the potential investors. The 2 dynamic ministers, in fact, I have a little bias because all of them have been good friends for a long, long time. They have been here talking to you, the finance secretary, making sure that finance will not raise any objection to whatever is announced. And everybody else is here to welcome the investor. So just imagine, to tell you why Goa, the question would be more appropriate to say, why not Goa? Why Goa, there are 100 reasons, and why not Goa, there is no reason. And therefore, I am really happy that today's program is organized by Goa Chamber of Commerce, my dear friend Ralph D'Souza. Mangri Striker is the chairperson of this, and all the dynamic leaders of Goa are here, as well as the entrepreneurs of Goa are also here, along with those who are now going to be the new resident of Goa, participants in Goa's growth are all here. So it's a very interesting occasion. When my dear friend was speaking, he has been my friend for a long time, as he was saying. Marvin and we go back long time back. And he was giving why Goa. Normally, what happens in life is everybody is working all the time to make money. You ask him, why you make money? So there is a very real story. There was one very rich, successful industrialist goes to a beach and sees a man relaxing. So he's very upset with him. He says, what are you doing? He says, I'm a fisherman. I caught my catch very early in the morning. Now I'm relaxing. He's smoking a bidi. He said, what you'll do for the rest of your day? He said, nothing. I'm just waiting for the market to open. I'll go and sell my catch, come back home. And then what you'll do? He says, of course, I'm a Goan, so I'll take Feni. And then I'll relax, buy more nuste from this money and I will enjoy. So he's very upset. He says, I'm a successful industrialist. I know what is supply chain. Why don't you go a little deeper? He said, I don't have money. He said, you can buy. You can take loan from. He says, don't. And go and buy a bigger ship so you can go inside and then earn more money. He said, what do I do? Where I sell so much? He said, you can have a cold storage. You make more money. By storing it, you can sell it at the right time. He says, if I don't sell, then you can start a processing mill. And then, of course, Marvin will help you to sell it export globally. And if you did said capital, Rohan County will give you the money. And if you have any problem, you go to the Chief Minister. He says, really? And then what will I do? He said, then you can go and relax. He said, that's what exactly I'm doing. I'm exactly right now relaxing. So why should I do such complicated things in life only to relax? So ultimate purpose of life, as that industrialist wanted to discover, was relax. Can you imagine? So ultimately you spend all your life making money so that end of the life you can go and relax in Goa and enjoy. Just imagine, Goa is a place where you can do both at the same time. You can actually do business, make money, but relax at the same time. And that's the reason why you should come to Goa. There is no other reason than to do this at a time when I was very impressed with this policy. I was a Minister of Industries under Narendra Modi ji, and we had prepared a draft industrial policy which was discussed, deliberated, put on the website. But I'm very impressed with this kind of policy that has been placed, so I must congratulate the Chief Minister as well as Marvin Goodino. And a way, my friend Ron Kauto was describing how the IT is going to change and transform the lives of the people. So I think just imagine, only you heard very few ideas about the government, and I'm sure when the Honourable Chief Minister will speak, you will hear more about it. And therefore, it is a real time to be in Goa. I remember, and I'm so impressed with Government of Goa and this dynamic Chief Minister, I'll give one instance. I became Commerce and Industry Minister, and first thing we did was, I requested the Prime Minister, and Prime Minister created a new division for logistics. In fact, there was no logistics as a subject in the central government. And we prepared quickly a policy which was released recently by the Prime Minister. It was ready long time back. But I came to Goa. I used to come to Goa all the time. And I said, we'll make Goa a logistic hub. Everybody ridiculed me. Kya baat kar hai, ridicule. Some newspaper wrote very critical comments on this. But today, as my friend Marvin was telling you, it's a reality. So when I talked about it, it was ridiculed because this was the first time we talked about any logistic hub like this in the country, and that was Goa. So they said, why not other states? I said, why not? Yes, right. Who's saying why not? We need Goa, but doesn't mean we don't want any other states. But now it's a reality, so that's a dynamism of the Government of Goa. So I announced it. It's become a reality. I had actually sent a delegation from Delhi to make it happen immediately. And now I think we can see this happening. So at a time, this is a dynamism. So in fact, as he said, I was railway minister. Always we did everything that Goa needed. And now we can see this, even aviation. I think what I really now thinking, and I have just put few points. Honourable CM, there's very interesting opportunity waiting to happen in the world. The world has now moving towards a very different kind of path. Ultimately, you need money to start any business. It is surprising that small business struggle to get money, and there are large funds who are struggling to invest money. It's a dichotomy and a real sense. And now there is another interesting development, that funds will invest only into such projects which are ESG compliant. ESG stands for environment, sustainability and governance. And now, some countries have passed a law that investment can be made those funds were based in those countries. If the investee company is not ESG compliant, you cannot make the investment. And how much is the funds? By 2025, the ESG funds globally will be almost $55 trillion. What is $55 trillion? America, largest economy of the world. China, second largest economy of the world. Japan, third largest economy of the world. All put together are not even $55 trillion. So just imagine the funds which will be invested globally will be in trillions of dollars, and they're waiting to find out companies. My request to Honourable CM is, let's make Goa the first ESG compliant state. What we can do, we can set up a screening system in which any company making investment now will also have to follow ESG norms. It's good for the company. So company will not be put to disadvantage. Because if you can put ESG companies, automatically funds will also come. And therefore, this can be a game changer. There is no other state in India who are trying to do this. You will be the first state and you will like to do that. And I would suggest also, I'll request my dear friend Borje Brende, who is the head of World Economic Forum. The big forum, of course, was in Davos, where Honorable CM is invited. I'm sure he'll go next year. I will also, because he will be the right person to speak there. But also we'll invite them, if not a big event, some event on ESG, with World Economic Forum and Goa government can do it together, which we will organize in Goa very soon. I'll also talk to my dear friend Borje Brende today and request him, and Honorable CM can write a letter to him, and let's organize a joint event in Goa. And then my dear friend Rohan Kaute will remind you, when he was a minister in charge of startup, even today I think we are looking at startup, right? We started something first time in India. On 6th of December 2018, we had organized a roundtable for startups, where the startups were there as well as those who will provide funds. This was not ESG, this is general startup funds, because ESG is a different animal altogether. And that became so successful, we wanted to follow it up. Actually, we'll now do it again every year after year, so that this can become another platform for startup at a time when actually the startups are struggling globally. In fact, some of the startups were assured funds, the funds are withdrawing. In fact, this is not just for a startup in India. Our great friend Donald Trump has started a new social media handle, Truth. That name is only Truth, huh? So that handle, which actually they wanted to get $1 billion of fund which was promised to him. Now the funders are saying we cannot fund it anymore. So globally there is a big problem of startups getting money. So I think we really need to think about it through, but I think Goa will be the right place to do that. And I was just looking at this policy, which is really speaking, taking care of many, many important things. I would also try to request the Honourable CM, making Goa as a completely distinct identity from the rest of the crowd, is designing. See, we are already started a program, Make in India. In fact, I was responsible for it. I was also responsible for making Invest India was also under me. But I used to always say that Make in India is very important. China became factory of the world because they were making all labor-intensive jobs. Very good, because we need to create jobs. But the real money is not into making. The real money of the world into the entire value chain of manufacturing is in designing. So if you can start a Design in India program in Goa, and therefore this does not require much. We don't need much land, we don't need much anything. That's the challenge, because in Goa, every time you have, there will be some local communities which will not be saying that, why my land? So design centers for the world. We can think about making it in Goa, which can create jobs of a magnitude that cannot be imagined, high value jobs. And Goans, any case, the Goans are really very advanced in many areas, and therefore they would like to do some high-value jobs. And they are the right people to do this. And therefore, I think we should try to think about design of the world, design in Goa, which we can actually think about. Goa government can think about some sort of a policy support for anybody who wants to design, and then automatically the advantage is the design, IPR will be registered in Goa, that we have to make sure the intellectual property right, the design will be registered in Goa. So for a long time to come and all times to come, the royalty from that will come to Goa. So automatically, once it is designed in Goa and is registered in Goa, state government can levy, put very small little cess, and that can result into huge amount of money for all times to come. And therefore, I think we should really think about design. The same way, there was a proposal many years ago in which we were thinking of making Goa as an offshore banking center. That didn't happen. It doesn't matter. But still, there is a huge potential for Goa becoming a deal-making center. Whenever you see the billions of dollars that deals are made, the designing of deal, financial deal, where the investment banker comes together, puts together a team of people who design it, I don't think there is any other place better than Goa to make such deals happen. So I think the actual banking transaction will happen anywhere. Because nowadays, any case, SWIFT transfers the money within no time. Even before the eyelid is known, that we can actually, the money gets transferred into billions of dollars. So I think if we can think about these ideas which can actually help in a very significant way. And I know there are CM is going to speak, many of you are waiting for long, so I'll just make my last point. And that is, it is actually the industrial policy, which is honestly speaking a very good policy. I congratulate the Chief Minister as well as my dear friend Marvin Goodino for putting his best efforts and best step forward. And soon thereafter, there is already the investors also here. So it's not just an abstract policy, but an applied one in which all of you are participating. My point is, in the next few years, the industry itself is undergoing a sea change globally. We always talk about Industry 4.0. That's the fourth industrial revolution. But the new industries, which will really dominate the world in future, the old industries will no longer be as effective as they were. We'll still need industries which are really the brick and mortar industries, which will be needed. Without that, how will it happen? So we cannot live in virtual world all the time. But at the same time, the real growth in the world is going to happen in new industries. So I think when I was drafting that policy for the Government of India, I had actually identified some of these key new industries which will dominate the world, not just India. I would sit down one day with you, we'll discuss this kind of industries, and we'll make very specific that particular industry-related policy. So it will not just be a generic policy, but a particular industry which needs something, what ecosystem is needed, what kind of support is needed, and that will be the futuristic industry, which will dominate for at least 20, 30 years. Now, of course, we cannot, 20, 30 years is too long a time in the life of an industry in future. The obsolescence is going to be so much due to technology, due to market innovations. Therefore, we should really keep innovating it all the time and revisiting it. But we'll work on that, and I think we'll be definitely doing that. I have a big obligation towards Goa, because Goa was very kind enough to give me one of your daughters in marriage to me. So I have to keep repaying the dowry that I have to keep giving to Goa. So as all my government positions, I was already doing everything possible for Goa. So people sometimes jokingly used to ask me also, are you Minister for Goa or Minister for Government of India? I said, Goa is integral part of India. One of the best states, best people, best environment. Why not this? And before I conclude, I was asking the Chief Minister. In fact, I have little bit, as I said, bias, because I know him for a long time. One of the fine person. I know his wife as well, who are really a good couple. Therefore, I was just asking him, I said, this particular place where we are sitting, this is owned by the government? He said, no. You will also be surprised, those who are not from Goa. This is created by Panchayat. Panchayat created this. Can you imagine this kind of center created by a Panchayat which has a population of 25,000 people? So just imagine Goa's ability, where in so many big cities of India will not have such infrastructure made even by the central government or by the state government. But here Panchayat has created something like this. So now, after seeing this, do I have to also speak about why Goa? Answer is already very clear. Where you're sitting, there is a reason why you should be in Goa. The leadership led by CM and the ministers is the reason why you should be in Goa. The Industry Association by my dear friend Ralph is the reason why you should be in Goa. The secretaries who are sitting here is the reason why you should be in Goa. And when you go around, you will know many of the Goans whose name you may not remember, but whose hospitality will always be in your mind, is the reason why you should be in Goa. The beautiful beaches is the reason why you should be in Goa. And one more reason you should be Goa is that if you are not in Goa, you are going to miss something. Thank you.
Thank you, Sureshji. Whenever you speak, it's always very stimulating with a lot of enriching takeaways as usual. I think a couple of important takeaways. One was the ESG concept. Very important because with the G20 presidency of India impending from the 1st of December, Prime Minister Modi's capstone focus is really on ESG. The focus of ours is going to be on the digital stack, the health stack, everything. And all of that go to the heart of environmentality, sustainability and governance. Also important, I can vouch for the fact every time I've had a conversation for many years with Sureshji, Goa is always in his heart and he's always said, I'm going to keep doing something for Goa. I think he's been our best ambassador in Delhi in that sense across various portfolios. So thank you very much. We will now